Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Millie and today's video is going to be about reviewing our Q3 goals. So if you haven't looked at my previous videos, Q1 and Q2 of this year, I decided that I was going to review my goals. Q1 was a big shock because it's the first time I've ever done anything like this, and honestly it was quite scary going back and rereading all of the goals that you've set yourself and seeing whether you have or haven't accomplished literally any of them. Q2 is much easier, and Q3 I feel like I'm kind of coming to the point of the year where quite a lot of my goals are already ticked off and I don't really have that much to go anymore. There's only a couple months left of the year, which is actually insane, like so crazy how fast this year is going. But it's been a good year so far and I really hope that 2025 is going to have even more in store for me. So without further ado, let's get started on today's video. So as with all of the previous videos I've done, I've always started with some like reflection and achievements of things that I've done over the last quarter. So I'm going to keep the format the same and I'm going to read you out the list of what I put down for this quarter, and I highly recommend that you guys do this as well because it's really nice going back and actually seeing some of the things that you've done that you maybe even forgot that you ever did in the first place. So the first thing was I went on another fun hen do. The second thing is, and I actually don't remember if this happened in Q2 or not, but I think it might have happened in Q3, but Imogen, my best friend who you guys have seen on the vlogs, asked me to be her maid of honor for her wedding. So we actually went to a wedding fair in Q3 and it was so much fun. It's so special to get to share that with like my best friend. And I know there's gonna be so much more fun stuff that we're gonna get to do in the lead up to her wedding. The third thing is I donated blood, so that's now something that is ticked off the list. That was like something I've wanted to do for years and just like never really got around to doing it, and finally just had the perfect time. So yeah, that's done. The fourth is I completed City to Surf. City to Surf, if you have not heard of it, is the world's largest fun run and it's held here in Sydney, Australia, and it's like 7 kilometers of uphill and then 7Ks of sort of like downhill but a little bit more hills, and yeah, 90,000 people run it every year. So this year I did complete it. I can't even remember what my time was. I think it was like an hour 30 or something. Yeah, I really can't remember if I'm honest with you, but around that ballpark from memory. Number 5 was I moved into a new apartment, so I've got a different filming set up to when I used to film this video. So yeah, new apartment, so that's a huge life change. Number 6 is that I ran 28 kilometers for my 28th birthday, which was in August, and that was like a huge challenge for me because the longest I'd ever run prior to that day was a half marathon, so 21K. So an extra 7K on top of the furthest I've ever run before, so I was super proud of myself for that. Number 7 is playing paddleball for the first time. I'm all about trying new things, trying new adventures, trying new hobbies, and I haven't played it since, but it was fun the one time that I played it. I made some bagels for the first time. You guys know I do love to cook, so it was quite exciting because I love a good bagel. I haven't been eating them at the minute because I'm in a calorie deficit, but do love a good bagel, and I love making things homemade because you know exactly what ingredients to put in them rather than like the shit and the preservatives and stuff that otherwise are put into them if you buy them from a shop. And the final thing was I went rock climbing for the first time since being a little kid, and that was just so much fun. I literally used to go all the time as a kid, and Stephen and I one afternoon, we just had nothing to do, so we were like, oh, should we just go do something random? And rock climb is what we ended up with. I'm going to move on to the actual goals I set myself for 2024, and I'm actually going to try and do this quite quickly, sort of like a rapid fire, so that this video doesn't end up being too long, because a lot of these topics I've obviously spoken about in my Q1 and Q2 video. So let's get going. So the first one is reading, and I set myself a goal of 52 books this year, which would have been a book a week. I'm currently on 33, so I've got 19 books to read, which I think could be possible. Basically, so I read 13 in the last quarter, and I was reading the ACOTAR series during that period of time. So those books, if you don't know, are like this fat, and they took me ages to get through. There's 5 of them. It took me ages to get through all of them, but I finally finished the ACOTAR series and I've moved back onto books that are like regular, you know, 300-400 pages. So now that I'm back onto those books, I think that this next quarter should progress quite quickly. So yeah, 19 to go, so about 2 a week. So it is still like a little bit of a push, but I think I might be able to do it. The second is the Spanish lessons, and in the last video I told you guys that I'd like decided that I was not going to sign up for Spanish lessons, but I've kind of done a complete U-turn on that and I'm thinking about signing up for Spanish lessons again. I did look at doing like an in-person class like here in Sydney, but it was really expensive. And I found a website that, well, my dad actually told me about this like literally last year, and I just never did anything about it. But you can just find tutors online that will charge like, that obviously all have different fees, but there's a guy that I found that I liked, and he charges $16 I think an hour or something like that, and they're like native speakers, so, and it's one-on-one. So I am thinking, I haven't bit the bullet yet, but I'm thinking that I might sign up to that. But yeah, it's kind of a work in progress. I really haven't progressed very far with my Spanish. I've been, well, I actually was just watching back my Q2 video, and I said in that video that I was stuck at trying to learn the past tense, and I'm gonna put this out there, it's quite embarrassing, but I'm still trying to learn how to conjugate the past tense, because that is how little Spanish I've done over the last quarter. Number 3 is gratitude and manifestation. I have been religiously doing this every single morning. One of the first things I do when I wake up is I get my little pink journal that you guys have probably seen on some of my vlogs, and I write out 3 things I'm grateful for, and I do usually 3 things that I'm manifesting as well. And yeah, religiously that has been, I would honestly tick that off my list at the minute, because I have been doing it basically every single day. And the final thing on this list was cooking class. You guys know I already completed that one, so we don't need to talk any further about that one. On to my second category, which is health and fitness. So again, I'm gonna just like try smash through these. So number 1 was a half marathon. I completed that. I actually completed that last quarter, so you guys already know about that. But I have now officially signed up for the Hoka half marathon for May next year. So fingers crossed, I'm gonna get a sub 2 with all of the running that I'll be doing in the lead up from now until then. The second thing was my sub 25-minute 5K. You guys know I completed that last quarter. I haven't tried to do another as fast as I can 5K since. However, I have ran a 26-minute 5K, and I've done a few 27-minute 5Ks as well. So overall, I'm definitely able to run faster, more frequently, and without dying as much, if I'm honest. But I have not done a second sub 25. But one day I'm going to do another one. The third is, well, doing pull-ups basically. I said I wanted to be able to do 5 unassisted pull-ups, and I still have not lifted a weight this year. And today is October the 20th, and I've still not lifted a weight. It's highly unlikely I'm going to lift a weight by the end of the year, so that's probably not going to be accomplished. That is still a goal that I want to achieve overall, because I think it's important to have upper body strength and be able to lift your own body weight, but it's just probably not going to happen this year, and I'm okay with that. Number 4 was 75 hard. I think I've kind of decided like I'm definitely not going to do 75 hard in the near future. I already don't drink very much. I already track my calories for like the majority of the time. I'm already doing a lot of exercise, and I just don't want to add any more restrictions into my life. I still want to enjoy my life. I'm still young, and I feel like I should just be enjoying. I'm not one of these people that do all of these things to excess. Like maybe I was in like my young 20s or like turning my late teen years, but that's just like not who I am anymore. And I feel like I'm already quite good at control, so I don't want to put myself in a position where I'm being like so restrictive that it impacts my, I don't think it would impact my quality of life, but my social life, and that aspect is still quite important to me. So I just don't want to add any restrictions to that. The final thing is unprocessed meals. If you watched my last video, I told you guys that I have to have surgery to get my gallbladder removed. And part of that is in the lead up to having surgery, I have to be super careful with what I'm eating. So overall, I am eating a lot less processed food. I really don't snack as much anymore. Like I haven't had crisps or chocolate or anything like super bad. Not that they're super bad, but you know what I mean, like high processed foods. I haven't had any of that in like quite a long time. So I'm eating lots of vegetables, chicken, rice, lots more sort of like whole grains and things like that, and I'm feeling pretty good. Again, I'm in a calorie deficit, so this is all sort of like tying in together, and I have lost quite a bit of weight so far, to be honest. So yeah, just gotta keep going with that. Surgery date is in November, so I will have to have a little bit of like a downtime after I have surgery, but aside from that, I've been pretty good with my eating over the last quarter. Moving on to finance, and I know finance is one of those subjects that can be a bit touchy for people. For me, I don't mind talking about finances, but I'm not going to broadcast everything over the internet. I think that's completely normal. I don't think you want everybody knowing the ins and outs of your everyday life, but yeah, to run you through. So my savings goal that I set myself for the year, I'm currently at 80% of my target. I am like 99.9% sure I'll hit that target by the end of the year, if not sooner. In fact, I definitely think I'll hit it sooner than the end of the year. Right now, with what I'm putting away, I am on track to be hitting that. My second thing is tracking my spending. I do this religiously every month. Like I said in my previous video, I would highly recommend if you've never done it before. It will open your eyes as to what you're spending. For example, you know, usually I'm like a sucker for my weekly food shop, and with the move and everything else that's been going on, I just hadn't really been doing that. So I've been just like popping into the shop every day rather than doing one big food shop, and my food bill doubled. Tell me why I spent over $400 in 1 week when I usually spend $200. For me and Steven, we spent $400, which insane. So anyway, food shops today. We actually did a weekly food shop, so we're back on track with the weekly food shops. But yeah, highly recommend you guys track your spending, especially if you sort of get to the day before payday and you're like, where's all my money gone? Because I bet you'll have some shocks in there. My lifetime ISA, I told you guys that I wanted to invest all the money that was sat in my lifetime ISA. I'm like almost done that. I think maybe like one more round of making some more investments in there, but pretty much done. I will save some money in there that's just sort of like a buffer because, you know, there's admin fees for the account and things like that. But yeah, that's like basically almost done. Like I'll easily be ticking that off before the end of the year. The final thing in my finance category is investing. So I told you guys I had a goal of investing $7,000 by the end of the year, which is like separate to my lifetime ISA. And I currently, at the point of filming this video, am sat at 6,400. So I've got $600 left to go. So again, I'm like 99.9% sure I will hit that by the end of the year. In terms of relationships, date nights, like I said earlier, we've been doing like the most random things. That we've been going for ice baths, we've been going rock climbing. So not every week, but definitely we've been making effort to go do like these little random activities, and we've been having a really good time doing them. The second thing in relationship was friends. I've definitely been making more effort to keep in touch with people, especially people from back home. Like I make sure I message people. One thing I can be quite bad at sometimes is taking like a week, if not longer, to reply back to people. So I've been trying to make sure that I actually go through my WhatsApp messages and reply to people sooner than like 7 to 10 business days, because that's honestly just not cool. And it's annoying. It's annoying when you want to talk to somebody and you want to catch up with them and they don't reply for like 2 weeks. So I need to stop also being that person. And then the final one is family. And again, like my family stuff is on track. I speak to my mum regularly. I speak to my siblings. I speak to my dad. Like I have a pretty good relationship with, I have a very good relationship with everybody in my family. So I just need to make sure that I continue maintaining, chatting with them all the time pretty much. Next, my favorite thing to talk about, which is travel and holidays. And the 2 goals that I had set myself in this category for the year I've already done. So the first one was to book a trip. That's a new thing for Q3 that I've done. I booked my next trip, so that's so exciting. That is going to be at Christmas, so still a little while away, but very, very, very excited for that. And the second one was to visit 3 countries, which I already discussed in the last one, that if we're including territories as well as countries, I've already done that one as well. So both of my 2 travel goals are already ticked off for the year. I think next year I'll probably set myself some more travel goals, but I feel like that's kind of like a hard one to plan for because Steven's like not as organized as me. So when I'm talking about like trying to plan things for 2025, he is like in one ear and out the other. Like he's just not ready to organize things like that. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see where I can get to with persuading him on things. The final one, and I really feel like, well, I feel like filming this, that I've really rushed through, raced through all of these categories. I don't know what it's going to be like when I actually edit this video and how long it's going to be, but filming it, I feel like it's taken me like barely any time at all. But my final category was my miscellaneous one. My first one on that list was to donate blood. I've already mentioned to you guys I did do that. I was actually booked in to donate blood a second time about 2 weeks ago now. However, with all of the stuff that was going on when they were trying to figure out what was wrong with me before I knew I needed to have my gallbladder removed, they were running loads of blood tests and they actually found out that I have low iron. So I cannot currently donate blood right now. And I think just in the lead up to my surgery as well, they said it's probably not best for me to be going to donate blood when I just need my body to be in full operation basically. The second thing on that list was to make the apartment feel like home, and well, we're in a new apartment now, and this apartment, I think because it's so much more modern than the previous one, it does feel homely. And we had to buy a bit of furniture when we moved into this place. So some of those things that we maybe wanted in the old place but didn't get around to doing, like we have done here. Like we've got a dining table now. I bought a new coffee table, which is something I'd wanted to do for the longest time. I bought a rug for the living room, which is something I wanted to do for the longest time. I bought new bedding, bought new towels. Like there's just been like quite a few things that we've done. There's definitely still stuff I need to do. I finally put this painting on the wall that my friend Shannon made. There's definitely still things I need to do in this apartment, but it's sort of like just slowly doing them over a period of time because, you know, money doesn't grow on trees and furnishing an apartment is expensive. So yeah, that's just like slow and steady on wins the race on that one. But I have ticked that goal off now in my notes, because I do feel like this apartment feels homely and it feels clean, and like I'm just so happy here. The next one was to declutter, and I officially have ticked this off my list for 2024, because when we moved, we literally were ruthless. We were chucking things out. We chucked away so much stuff. I chucked away so many clothes, so many just like bits of things that we just had everywhere. And even though actually this apartment has so much storage, like we actually have more space than we need, I just didn't want to bring unnecessary clutter over with us. So the declutter has been done, and I plan to try and not add too much stuff that is just going to end up being clutter in this apartment. The final thing on my miscellaneous list was to keep the place clean. And again, I think just because this place is new, I'm so motivated to keep it clean, like making sure I'm keeping on top of my vacuuming, my sweeping, my mopping, like everything, just keeping the place tidy, feeling like zen in your own space. And yeah, I'm very happy with that so far. Now that brings me to the end of this video of reviewing all of my 2024 goals. Like I said at the start of this video, I'm like pretty far gone into ticking everything off. So I really think that by the time I do my final check-in for this year, it will all be done. Well, aside from like the 75 hard and like, you know, the things like that I've told you guys that I'm just not doing anymore, I think everything that I'm still trying to achieve will be done by the end of 2024, which is so exciting. I've actually already started writing my list for my 2025 goals, and if you haven't already, I would recommend that you start doing that, because there's nothing worse than coming to like the end of December or like the start of Jan and you're trying to write your goals for the year and you just have like no idea, like nothing comes to mind, and you end up with like, I don't know, 2 goals that are so broad and like they're not just like not smart goals, you know, they're not measurable, they're not trackable, they're not realistic. And so I've started writing already my list of 2025 goals, and my aim for 2025 is to have a lot more goals than I set myself this year. And again, like I said, going more into detail. So like, for example, my health and fitness for next year, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I've already got 6 on that, and I'm sure over the next few months I'll be adding more stuff to there. So yeah, anyway, that is the end of this video. If you made it to the end, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope that this video motivates you to basically get going with your goals. You know, we've still got a few months left of the year, so there's still time for you to achieve things, and like I said, it's already time to get organized for 2025. So if you made it to the end of this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button so you can stay tuned to see how I finish off 2024. See you soon. Bye.